In today's headline, time for pandemic, exit plan, IATF told. Stealth Omicron, dominant strain. No vax, no ride, no more under alert number 2. DICT, Comelec hacking, impossible. Private schools offer facilities for polls. BSP eyes currency shield via law. Russia, Ukraine agrees to ceasefire, new talks. Good morning, I am Kim Sancha and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Today is the 28th of January 2022 and here are the latest news of this Friday morning. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion and molecular biologist Father Nicanor Austriaco has asked the government to start weaning the country away from the pandemic mindset. In their joint letter to the Interagency Task Force on the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, Concepcion and Austriaco said the time has come to implement a pandemic exit plan. The letter was addressed to Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles and IATF Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez Jr. Among the initial steps they propose is the reinstatement of the international travel protocols prior to the 3rd of December 2021, including COVID-19 testing within 24 hours of departure, an additional RT-PCR test upon arrival, 3-day quarantine, and a post-quarantine test. A negative test result at the end of the 3-day isolation would allow the traveler to already leave the quarantine facility, they added. Concepcion and Austriaco said in their letter to Secretary Nograles and Galvez that at this time the Omicron surge has peaked in the NCR and is expected to peak in the different regions of the country in the next 2 weeks. Moreover, they insisted that a significant number of Filipinos have already acquired immunity from COVID-19, either through infection-acquired immunity or through vaccination. Concepcion expressed belief that the country's travel restrictions can be further based or eased rather without compromising safety by scrapping facility-based quarantine and instead requiring only home isolation. Concepcion said that the next few months will be critical on how the country will move on from the pandemic. He believed that the government should set an example and start opening the country to the world. This will instill confidence in the vaccines and encourage more of our countrymen to take them. BA.2 or the stealth subvariant of the Omicron strain of COVID-19 is now the dominant variant in the Philippines in terms of local community transmission, the Philippine Genome Center or PGC said Thursday. PGC Executive Director Cynthia Saloma said in a Laging Handa briefing that the Philippines has joined countries like Denmark, United Kingdom, Singapore, and India in grappling with stealth Omicron. She said that notwithstanding its stealth nature, the Omicron subvariant can still be detected through reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction or RT-PCR test. Saloma assured the public that it can still be detected in RT-PCR tests. She said that it was called stealth Omicron because it lacks the deletion of 69 to 70 in the spike region that is really targeted by the commonly used RT-PCR kit in Europe and other countries. Meanwhile, the Department of Health or DOH reported 618 new Omicron variant cases, bringing the total confirmed caseload in the country to 1,153. Based on the PGC's latest batch of whole genome sequencing of the 677 sample sequence, 618 tested were of the Omicron variant. The health department said the stealth Omicron was found to be more prevalent in the latest batch of whole genome sequencing. Despite this, the agency assured the public that the detection of the stealth Omicron variant in the country does not entail any significant change in the COVID-19 response. The newly detected cases of Omicron variant were composed of 497 local cases and 121 returning overseas Filipinos. Of the 497 local cases, 227 cases are from the National Capital Region or NCR, 71 from Calabarzon, 30 each from the Ilocos region and Western Visayas, 28 from Eastern Visayas, and 27 from Central Luzon. 20 Omicron variant cases were detected in Central Visayas, 19 in Cagayan Valley, 13 in the Cordillera Administrative Region, and 10 cases in Davao Region. Soc Sergeant had 6 cases, while 3 were 2 cases each from Bicol Region and Mimaropa, and 1 case from Northern Mindanao. The implementation of the no vaccination, no ride policy in Metro Manila will be suspended if the region reverts to the less strict Alert Level 2. Transportation Undersecretary Artemio Tuazon Jr. on Thursday said that ordinances prohibiting unvaccinated individuals from taking public transport will be deemed non-applicable when the capital region eases restrictions. Tuazon said in a televised briefing that the no vaccination, no ride policy is valid only within the National Capital Region or NCR, while it is under Alert Level 3 or higher. He added that if it shifts into a lower alert level, the policy will be suspended. As for areas outside the capital region, Tuazon said, local officials may adopt the measure within their respective provinces. Metro Manila, considered the epicenter of the Philippines coronavirus outbreak, has been placed under Alert Level 3 since the start of the year. Within the week, authorities are expected to decide on the next alert level status that will be imposed in the region for the month of February. It earlier drew flack from some groups which called it discriminatory and anti-poor, but the government defended it by saying that restriction on the unvaccinated will protect them from the COVID-19 threat. Metro Manila mayors have agreed to impose stay-at-home orders among residents in the capital region who have yet to receive COVID-19 jabs. Local government units have been directed by the Interior Department to identify who among the residents remain unvaccinated. Tribune News on Cue will be back after these reminders.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Si Harry Roque ang pinakamagaling na spokesman, kaya inggit sa kanya ang oposisyon.
Tama lang na ipinaglaban ko ang balik trabaho para bumalik ang kita ng mga nagtatrabaho at naghahanap buhay. Hindi pwedeng magutom ang pamilya. Dapat lang po ingat buhay para sa hanap buhay. Basta trabaho, kita at hanap buhay ang nakataya. Nasa harap niyo po ako.
Ibigay natin ang tudong suporta kay Harry.
Mga katribu, tara na't makiisa at matuto sa mga public service programs hatid ng Kalingang Katribu. Tuwing Lunes, nandyan ang usapang business na magbibigay tips at inspirasyon sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs kasama si Vernon Velasco. Tuwing Miyerkules, usapang pangkalusugan naman ang tatalakayin ni Miss Cory Quirino sa Health and Wellness. At tuwing Biyernes naman, kung legal advice ang kailangan mo, sagot ka na ng Legal Diaries kasama si Elmer Navarro Manuel at mga guest lawyers. Lahat ng niya mapapanood tuwing alas 3:30 ng hapon sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Bakunado ka na ba, katribu? Halina't i-flex ang proud bakuna moments at manalo ng exciting prizes sa ating Katribu Bakunado Selfie Contest. Para makasali, sundin lamang ang mga sumusunod na mechanics. Step 1. I-like at i-follow ang official Facebook page ng Daily Tribune. Step 2. Ibahagi ang iyong larawan o selfie nung ikaw ay nagpabakuna kasama ng iyong sagot sa tanong, bakit mahalaga ang maging bakunado kontra COVID-19? Step 3. Ipadala ang iyong entry sa ating messenger, kalakip ang iyong pangalan, address at contact detail. Ang deadline of entries ay hanggang February 1, 2022. Ang mapipiling mga entries ay ipopost sa ating Facebook page at kung sino ang may pinakamaraming Facebook reaction votes ang siyang mananalo. Tandaan, huwag din kalimutang tumutok sa programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa official Facebook page ng Daily Tribune. Let us beat COVID-19 as one. Dahil dito sa Daily Tribune, basta bakunado, protektado. Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chert Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
We are back on Tribune News on Cue. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, has released the preliminary findings of its Cybercrime Bureau that alleged hacking of Commission on Elections, or Comelec, servers last the 8th of January was an impossibility. Comelec's vote counting machine is presently offline and there's not enough data on the automated election system that could be breached, the DICT said in belying the alleged hacking reported by a newspaper. It said that the DICT will undertake the necessary measures to ensure a fair and secure electoral process and is ready to assist the Comelec on related cybersecurity concerns. DICT Assistant Secretary for Cybersecurity Attorney Christopher Tiansay said the upcoming elections have highlighted the need to tighten measures in protecting the information gathered from our stakeholders and preventing its use outside the intended purpose. The Comelec has yet to comment on the results of the initial probe, but the hacking was already denied by the Commission through its spokesperson, James Jimenez. Jimenez earlier said that the 60 gigabytes of data allegedly taken from the Comelec servers were not yet existing, thus there are no data to steal. The National Privacy Commission also called on concerned parties for a clarificatory hearing on the alleged hacking. It asked the Comelec to submit a comprehensive incident report on that matter. A private schools group is offering its schools for rent to be used as poll precincts in the May 9 national and local elections. These, as Commission on Elections Comelec spokesperson James Jimenez announced on Wednesday that the Commission was eyeing for 105,000 poll precincts for the coming May elections. Eliazardo Casilag, President of Federation of Association of Private Schools and Administrators, or FAPSA, said that Comelec may beat them up. They are really bent on hiring new classrooms and they are ready to service Comelec. Casilag noted that there are more buildings in the private schools than the public schools. He mentioned that in Marikina alone, there are 116 private schools and only 33 public schools, 17 elementary schools, 16 secondary schools, and 14 secondary schools. Of these are with senior high school programs. However, public schools are much bigger. He, however, stressed that it is a welcome development for the private schools, for these can surely help private school owners since PAPSA does not get financial assistance from the government, apart from the government assistance for students and teachers in private education program. He added that private school owners had been operating in a bankrupt position but had to be hang on to dear life to save teachers who also have nothing to cling to. Casilag said that many schools are now implementing a no-work, no-pay policy as a last-ditch effort because of an already retrenched working arrangement to avoid school permanent closure. He also calls for more consideration should be given to private schools that continue to feel the impact of the coronavirus disease pandemic. In other news, the central bank is preparing legislative proposals that aim to raise the penalty of imprisonment for crimes involving currency counterfeiting and to criminalize the unnecessary accumulation or hoarding of coins. BSP Governor Benjamin Diokno said on Thursday that these proposed measures are expected to further strengthen BSP's or Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas currency operations, covering production, distribution, deposit taking from banks, authenticity verification, anti-counterfeiting operations, and retirement. The BSP proposal will increase the length of imprisonment under current laws. The counterfeiting of Philippine money carries a jail sentence of at least 12 years and a day and a maximum fine of 2 million pesos. The proposal entails amendments to existing laws and will take into consideration the current economic landscape as well as advancements in printing technologies. To complement this, the BSP will also seek the enactment of a law that will define the crime of hoarding of coins and provide penalties. This will involve the revival of earlier legislative initiatives on coin hoarding at the Senate and House of Representatives. Diokno added that the BSP continues to work with stakeholders towards protecting the public against the unlawful or improper use of Philippine currency. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Boto mo to, Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Makinig at makisali sa usapan every Friday night at 6 p.m. sa I Speak Katribo Podcast. Samahan sina Daniel at Alvin na pag-usapan ang mga relevant topic na tiyak kakarelatean nyo mga katribo. At pagdating ng Sunday at 7 p.m., Speak Your Mind with our I Speak program na sasagot sa mga tanong regarding the latest and relevant issues sa paligid natin. I-like at i-follow nyo ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube para updated ka sa mga latest episode namin mga katribo.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation, gotta keep up with my nutrition, gotta maintain my body condition, then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination, babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Mapalutong bahay man o sumptuous meal for special occasions, sagot na kayo ng Tropang Kalanpag. Dahil atid sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang fun and exciting cooking show na Kalanpag, manood at matuto kung paano lutuin ang mga favorite nyong recipes. Sabayan pa ng fun and inspiring na kwentuhan sa kusina. I-upgrade na rin natin ang mga nakasanayang traditional dish ng pamilya. Plus, healthy tipid tips na ibabahagi ng Tropang Kalanpag. Matuto, mabusog at ma-good vibes dito lang sa Kalanpag. Tuwing Lunes, 10:30 a.m. sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
Boto mo to, Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. For our foreign news, envoys from Moscow and Kiev on Wednesday committed to a fragile ceasefire in eastern Ukraine during talks in Paris and agreed to continue their discussions against the backdrop of warnings that Russia may be preparing to invade its neighbor. A French diplomat said that more than 8 hours of discussion brokered by France and Germany had sent a good signal. For the first time since 2019, Ukraine and Russia agreed to sign a joint statement along with France and Germany about the ongoing conflict between Ukrainian forces and separatists in the east of the country. The joint statement committed both sides to an unconditional respect for the ceasefire and also said that they would meet again in 2 weeks' time in Berlin. A 2014 ceasefire deal bolstered in 2020 helped end the worst fighting over two separatist regions in eastern Ukraine that has claimed some 13,000 lives. A German government source later confirmed that the next round would take place in Berlin in the second week of February. An aide to French President Emmanuel Macron, speaking on condition of anonymity, stressed that the talks had been about resolving the separatists fighting in eastern Ukraine since 2014, not the threat of a Russian invasion. A Russian troop build-up close to the border with eastern Ukraine has raised fears the Kremlin is planning to intervene in its pro-European Union neighbor to halt NATO's expansion in Eastern Europe. In an early move to de-escalate that was envisaged by France, Ukraine's government this week withdrew a bill in parliament governing the status of Russian-backed separatist provinces in the east of the country, which Moscow saw as violating previous commitments. France is hoping that Russia will agree in turn to humanitarian measures such as prisoner exchanges in eastern Ukraine and the opening of checkpoints manned by the separatists. But Zelensky has stood firm against another French suggestion of direct talks between Ukraine's government and the Russian-backed separatists. That wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the following: the SM Store, Araneta City, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Haina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Kim Sancha and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay at home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tarsito are available on our community Viber.